Hi, today we are going to discuss how to use the Google Distance Metrics API in Python to retrieve the distance between two geolocations. In order for us to do that, we use the Google Distance Metrics API, and before we get started you can type in cloud.google.com and then it will take you through to this portal, and from there you can get into the console. And within the console you have the option to go into the API and services section, and within that section you have the credentials. You need to create an API key. So you click on the create credentials option and select API key. There you go, you've got an API key. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that API key and keep it in safe for me to use at a later stage. So I'm going to use idle, and now we get started on how to use the Distance Matrix API. There's a good documentation available through the developer guide, and it will tell you how to use this API. There are some examples available here, and the options and all, the format of the response is all documented here. So first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy over one of these examples. So as you see here, there's an XML option and a JSON option. I'm going to use the JSON option and then copy it over. Takes you to the URL maps.googleapis.com, maps API distance metrics JSON. Then it's asking you to enter an origin and the destination and the mode of travel. If you want to use a language, you can use the language, and finally your API key. So we need to first build this string within Python. In order to do that, we go back to our idle console. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import the requests library. I will import JSON, and I will also import pprint so that we can format the data that is coming through. The API key that we got from Google, we're going to type it as API key, pass it as a string, and then we are going to use the URL. So I'm going to break it into three parts. The initial part, Google API, it's a JSON request that we are sending through, and then I need to find the origin. I'm gonna type origin as a postcode, and then I need another part, call it URL2, and after that I'm gonna add my destination. Finally I'm gonna add the mode and a pointer to the key. We can concatenate all of this information and call it URL full, and I'm gonna print the URL full. There we go. We get the string that we need to pass to the Google API in order for us to get our response. Before that, we can just go into a new window on your browser and then type it in and see. There you go. It says the origin address is from Windsor, the destination is from Windsor, and we have our distance as 5.2 kilometers, and it's gonna take 13 minutes. We are gonna use the requests library to make the call. So I'm gonna make the call using request, passing the URL full, converting it into a JSON and getting it to an output variable, and then I'm gonna print the output variable, and here we can make use of the pprint command so that it will format it nicely and give us the response. you go. In order for us to get a single value here, there's a bit of traversing that we need to do through these Python objects. First thing that we have here is a dictionary. In order for you to find out, the dictionaries always start with the curly braces, and within the dictionary we have some lists. They start with square brackets, and within these lists we have more dictionaries and more lists and more dictionaries. So there's a bit of traversing that we need to do through these objects. If you are not sure what the type of the object is, we can always use the type, print type. There we go. It shows us that it is from the class dictionary. So we need to traverse through this rows key of the output dictionary, and within this dictionary we have the key value pairs. So destination address is the key, and the value is this list that contains address. And what we are really interested about is the key called rows and the value within the rows key. So we're going to iterate through the rows object first, output, and then within this we need to specify which dictionary we're going to go, which object we are going to go through, and then we can print. See here, it now gets through to the elements section. So here there's a dictionary and the key is elements, and there is a list for this key that contains the distance and duration dictionaries. So the next thing is to go traverse through the elements. For data in obj, specify elements, and then we can print data. So within the data now we have the distance, which is a key within the dictionary here. It starts with the curly brace. Then we have another dictionary as the value of the distance, and there is a key called text which gives us the values. Now rather than traversing through distance, which is a dictionary, we can point directly into the distance text using this following command. So we can say print, and then data, and within that data we have this distance key, and of that value we're going to pick the text key. And there we go, we have 5.2 kilometers. Let me do a little bit of cleaning up, taking off all the prints that we have. If we want to pick up the duration that it takes, and at it tells 5.2 kilometers 13 minutes. This is a basic example of how to use the Google Distance Metrics API. However, as you see here, you can see that it's only using one origin and one destination. But when you are trying to use this commercially, you may want to find distances between multiple origins and destinations. Hence, you need a matrix, and therefore we have a distance matrix API. We will look at the way that we can use the distance matrix where we can pass multiple origins and destinations into the same API call in the next video. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed.